Premier League Game Week 2 highlights and takeaways. Serge Aurier and Awoniyi were the stars of this match. The former with a couple assists and the latter with a quality header goal and a second called back for offside, in addition to tons of attacking pressure. When healthy, Awoniyi is a great talent. Matt Turner is looking more comfortable as a Prem League starter now and had a fantastic two-handed grab to save a strong attempt. Brennan Johnson is better suited alongside Gibbs White as a facilitator behind the top striker, and that showed on this day. Neco Williams at mid continues the trend of placing attack-minded defenders in this position. Gustavo Hamer had a fantastic goal, composed and angled, not reckless and high like many do when they have a go at goal. Great corner taker as well. LaRouche takes too long to make decisions, has Saka syndrome. Sheffield attack looks feckless. They badly need McBurney back. Poor match for defender Danilo. Missed assignments and openings. Clumsy defending all around in this one. Nottingham Forest defeats Sheffield United 2-1. Quickly taken free kicks becoming more prevalent. Happened multiple times this match week. Defensive-minded first half with sloppy offensive play early, until Diop made a terrible error, then failed to fully defend goal thereafter. Truly awful defending by Fulham's Diop. Fulham's American man, Tim Ream, was sent off after a second yellow and cheaply awarded penalty. Truly a scourge on the sport. It's imperative more yellows are given for diving. Despite this, and the fact that the outcome was determined after having to play against 10 men most of the second half, Wissa and Mbeumo are forming a truly special front line that finds space to consistently test the keeper and score goals. Mitrovic on his way to Saudi. Incredible how much worse Fulham is without him. Jimenez and D. Cordova-Reid simply lack the presence and finishing skill he possessed. Fulham have truly great players on defense with Leno, an elite keeper, Robinson and Tete tremendous on both sides, but if they don't add a high-level striker, Fulham will suffer this season and possibly be relegated. Brentford beat Fulham 3-0. Liverpool's backline is truly broken. It's not even a backline. It's a collection of attack-minded players and Konate. Trent, Robertson, and Van Dijk, all more valuable in attack than in defense. Bournemouth took what Liverpool gave them, and it should have been 2-0 3 minutes into the game if not for the saving grace of an offside call. Liverpool, though, picked up the attack as the game wore on, with a smart formation finding a way to include Gakpo in the attack, starting him at mid. 3 goals from Liverpool came after conceding 1. The first by Diaz, who doesn't attack goal as much as he should, but when he does, he's one of the most athletic and creative finishers, a contender for goal of the week. The second by Salah was initially missed, then cleaned up on the follow. Bournemouth keeper Neto actually had great reflexes on this day as 2 of the 3 goals he initially parried away, but his defense was of no help in clearing. The third goal by Liverpool was truly impressive given they were playing with 10 men, while an indictment on a poor Cherries defense. Liverpool were down to 10 due to another questionable officiating call on McAllister, who did go in studs high on Christie, but the latter studs were equally as high. This trend, putting too much emphasis on light contact and too little emphasis on diving, really needs to even out for the integrity of the sport. For Bournemouth, they must find a way to include David Brooks in the starting lineup with Semenyo, who was impressively attack-minded in this one and provided the only goal for his side. Liverpool defeat Bournemouth 3-1. It was a doomed formation for Wolves from the very start. Gary O'Neill set forth the scared 4 defense, 4 mid, and 1 striker directly behind the other. The same one that doomed Norwich and others back to relegation. But it was a banner day for Brighton, an incredibly exciting team to watch. As subpar as Mitoma is passing the ball, he is truly elite in possession and had a superb run for goal, fighting through contact twice and showing that if you do that, as opposed to dive, you will be rewarded. Then Estupinan put in the second, This player is extremely valuable to Brighton as he is a defender and attacker in one. Then the electric Enciso to March connection began for 2 straight goals, putting Brighton up 4-0 just minutes into the second half. Enciso feeding from the flank from both sides of the pitch and both sides of his feet, and March with deft touch finishes. An observation from the match, an overall microcosm. An incursion by Neto on Enciso early on looked bad, but both rose quickly and hugged it out, something I see a lot more in international football than in any other American sport. But the exception came at the end of this match when Matheus Nunes' frustration of poor finishing all game came to a head, and he pushed a couple opponents, earning a red card, which might be a blessing in disguise for Wolves, who only started attacking when their Korean man Hwang entered the match and provided a spark and their only goal. Hwang should be starting alongside Pedro Neto in attack if Wolves have any chance of keeping games respectable this campaign and Gary O'Neill has any chance of keeping his job. Brighton defeat Wolves 4-1. A defensive battle in the first half where no goals were conceded but many shots peppered the keepers. And one of the reasons it was goalless was because new Spurs keeper Bukayo is a freaking superstar, with 6 brilliant saves in this one, diving and parrying and grasping and making Spurs fans forget about Lloris. A masterclass in playing the position. If you're an aspiring keeper, watch Bukayo in this match. Garnacho cooked Porro repeatedly on the flank. The latter is better suited at mid, as he showed his attacking prowess with a rocket shot on goal that hit the post. He is in contention for the strongest leg in the Premier League for sure. The attacking form of Sarr, Bissouma, and Son are a welcome sight for Spurs fans, particularly the latter and his resilience to fight through contact. A seemingly admirable theme for the Far East Asian players in this week, with Hwang and Mitoma exhibiting similar tenacity. United will leave this match asking questions about their form, with Maguire left off the squad entirely, replaced by a second bench keeper. Is their attack enough to achieve their desired results in this campaign? The palatial Spurs Stadium is truly a marvel to behold, and when juxtaposed against the humble ground at Luton, one can only reflect on the beauty of the Premier League. Spurs defeat Manchester United 2-0. Newcastle's defense got lazy just 30 minutes in and allowed way too much space to Alvarez in the penalty area and allowed him a squeaky clean look on goal that he converted to take an early lead. Ederson has become exceptional at accuracy of his keeper kicks, finding mids and forwards in stride, and he will accumulate assists and key passes for sure. Rodri had an interesting game, started by playing American football and blocking on the opening kickoff, then made an error giving away the ball in a dangerous area, resulting in Newcastle's best chance at goal. Haaland, the single strike Scandinavian, the player that draws audible camera clicks when on attack, had a couple goes at goal that resulted in misses the exact same way, rolling just wide of goal. Same with Foden. I'm generally a big fan of the formation Newcastle set forth, the bold 4-3-3, but this typically boisterous, exciting bunch were quiet and humbled by City on this day, with Almiron and Bruno wasting prime opportunities both in passing and shooting. They'll see better days, but not against the Sky Blues. Manchester City defeat Newcastle 1-0. Fascinating formation for Aston Villa in this one. Seemingly 4 forwards with 2 on the flank and 2 up top, but Watkins slightly ahead of Diaby. Worked to perfection. Bailey and Diaby orchestrated many of the goals in this match, the former with a no-look assist through traffic to McGinn for the first, then had a goal of his own for the third. Diaby played facilitator for most of the match, but nearly had the goal of the season off a cross, jumping for a one-time straight kick with power that came off Pickford and the post. Truly a sight to see as the audience gasped at what might have been. This match featured one of the pressing questions in football. Who has more right to the ball in the keeper box? A clash of heads between Martinez and Calvert-Lewin favored the keeper, while on the other end, Pickford and Watkins scrambled, result in a Villa penalty, converted by Douglas Luiz, by the way. Misery for Everton ended in a fourth goal by Duran, simply given away on a throw by veteran Ashley Young, who wishes he could take that one back. Garner and Danjuma were the only bright spots for Everton in this one, both showing a nose for goal but lacked in finishing skill and assistance from their mates. And a Maupay miss from point-blank range compels us to ask the age-old question: will Neil Maupay ever score again? Aston Villa defeat Everton 4-0. The scoreline belies how close this Chelsea-West Ham clash truly was. The lineup shuffle indicates Chelsea are still experimenting with all their new players, but make no mistake, they are an extremely skilled bunch. Sterling looks spry and has tremendous burst, provided multiple chances. Chilwell was dangerous on attack. Chukwuemeka had a nifty move to score a truly impressive goal, and the team was generally impressive in attack, but lacked in finishing. Perhaps most clearly evidenced by Enzo Fernandez missing a penalty, a gutsy save by Areola, who has clearly taken the keeper job. For West Ham, James Ward Prowse, a strange sight seeing him in his first ever match not in a Southampton shirt, had a resounding debut with the opening assist to the Moroccan Naif Aguerd, who showed impressive hops to head in the first goal. Benrahma and Bowen peppered the goal with shots as per usual, but it was Mikel Antonio who converted with a truly prodigious strike, which Robert Sanchez couldn't stop. Robert Sanchez, by the way, who didn't record a single save in his first match and now has more goals allowed than saves on the season. Paqueta converted the third goal of the match via penalty in what could have been his parting gift before heading to Manchester City, if not for the emergence of a betting allegation against the player. Best to stay out of the casino, fellas. West Ham defeat Chelsea 3-1. Martinelli, Odegaard, and other Gunners could have scored early if they had that Haaland one-touch shot. They're good, but not that good. This match reintroduced a couple themes from the week. A quickly taken free kick that was contested by both Nketiah and the keeper Johnstone, this time resulting in a penalty converted by Odegaard. Nketiah had a bad day, in my estimation. The awarded penalty was a dive, worthy of a yellow or red, in my opinion. He also squandered prime chances off the post and over the goal. That same courtesy was not afforded to Palace, as there were several penalty box confrontations that could have been awarded, particularly for Eze, who was one of the few bright spots for Palace on this day. Ayew was another. He's had a surprising resurgence, which began at the end of last season and extended into the first two matches. He was penalized with yellow for fighting through contact and trying to retain the ball, more indication of terrible officiating. Tomiyasu got a couple cheap yellows resulting in red, but after all the calls awarded to Arsenal, there's no sympathy there. Edouard did not offer a single legitimate shot on target in 99 minutes, 30 of them against 10 men. It was an incredibly pathetic performance, and Palace will rue the day they squandered a valuable point and massive opportunity against a big club and their crosstown rival. Arsenal defeat Crystal Palace 1-0. Thank you for tuning in to the Football v Football podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcast. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you all so much, and until next time, have a fantastic day, football fans.